Hey everyone, welcome back to Mosaics. Really happy to be here with you today. And I'm super excited to talk with Moses today. Moses Mukengezi lives in Boise. He's super active and around, so I get to see you a lot. And I've been wanting to have a conversation with you on this podcast for a while. I think it was at an event recently. You gave me some crap for not inviting you on yet. So here we are. Moses Mukengezi, welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I was joking, by the way.
Well, here you are.
And then,
Be careful what you joke about.
I know, but I'm so honored to be here. You have, I listened to most of your episodes, but, it took you only one season to invite me on, but that's okay.
I just knew I had to save you so that the second season could start off really strong. I didn't want to waste you on first season stuff.
Oh, so, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So
now you're like a professional, so you got to bring in pros.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Me too. Thanks.
So for listeners just getting to know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Moses Mukengezi, like you said, and I am from the Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. That's where I was born. And I moved to Boise in 2007 with my family here. I love Boise. I went to Boise State. Go Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a father of 2 kids. And my wife and I are busy right now with raising those young kids.
So. Ages 4 and 2, right?
4 and 2, yep.
Boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl, yeah.
Busy time. And you're also working in commercial real estate?
I do, yep. I work for TOK Commercial. I focus mainly on retail.
Yeah, I like when we got in our studio, you knew so much about the listing agent and who's here. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know your stuff. So.
Yeah, I've been in this building before, toured it a couple times, and yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So you used to work at Agency for New Americans, right? Mm-hmm. Was it a case manager?
I wore many hats at the Agency for New Americans. So I started as the donations coordinator, and then I did employment, and then I did case management for single families or just single individuals there. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was doing, I think, when I left. That's what I was doing, donations coordinator, and then also employment and case management.
Yeah, and I noticed that in resettlement here, which is a strength of resettlement, is a lot of times the people filling those roles are former refugees themselves. Mm-hmm. So what was that like for you to have the firsthand experience and then turn around and help people who were just now in the thick of it?
It was a really cool experience, actually, having lived it and helping people that are just in their, going through it. It was a good 360 moment for me, I think. Full circle, if you could say. Mm-hmm. When I first got the job, I was so excited because, when I got to Boise, Slobodanka, the director of Agency for New Americans, and other people like Yasmin, they were all the people that welcomed us. Mm-hmm. And then going to work with them, it was just really cool experience. And Christina was still there as well.
Christina Bruce Benyon, who now is directing the Wasmus Center on Human Rights.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's great.
So she's the one that hired me before she went to IOR. And then, so working with people that are coming and going through the same things I went through. And I loved it more when I was helping people that spoke the language that I spoke as well, because then I can just, communicate with them without a translator. Mm-hmm. And they were really happy to come to the agency knowing that they can communicate with me. Being the donations coordinator, I thought it was the best job at the agency because people loved being, I was giving them things and they loved me for that. So
you got to give people the donated items and things?
Yeah, exactly. So get the apartments ready, give them everything they need in the apartment, and then if there is extra stuff when they come to the agency, like give them things, or they need something, they always kind of called me, and it was the best job I ever had.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I was still in college, so it was a really good job to have during the time I was going to school.
Mm-hmm. So you were really busy then too.
I was, yeah.
What languages do you speak?
So I speak Swahili, Kinyarwanda, Kirundi, French, and some English.
Oh, is that all? That's all you speak? That's a lot. I never know how people keep all these languages straight in their minds.
Yeah, so Kinyarwanda and Kirundi are very similar. They just kind of have different like ways of saying things, I guess, but they're kind of the same almost. So and Kinyamulenge is my parents' tongue language, and Kinyamulenge is very similar to Kinyarwanda as well.
Oh. So when you're with your family, do you still has English got taken over in those family settings, or do you still speak one of those languages?
With my brothers, my older brothers would just speak Swahili.
And are they still in Africa, or
they're here? They're here. And then my parents would speak Swahili as well.
And your parents, are they here too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And are you wanting to pass down any of these languages to your kids?
Oh yeah. My kids go to daycare at my cousin's house. It's in-home daycare, so she speaks Swahili to them, I think, more than I do, because my wife does not speak Swahili, so it's kind of hard for us to both communicate that with them, or me just kind of being on one side. I think they get more Swahili from daycare than they do at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was going to school, my brother and I were both in Spanish class, and it was really fun because at home we could kind of talk in Spanish, and my mom would be like, "What are you guys saying?" You'd be like, I don't know. We had our own secret language that we could talk.
That would be cool if my kids and I would talk, and my wife would be like out of.
Or she'll be secretly learning Swahili, and then she'll understand what you're saying.
Better than us,
get yourself in trouble.
She does try to learn, I think. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
You and your wife did a StoryCorps episode together.
We did.
It was really special.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was a cool experience. It was I think we did it with Salome.
Mm-hmm.
And she's as you know, she's awesome. She's a very good moderator.
Yeah.
And it was a good experience for us, actually. We kind of pondered in the back, kind of looked at our future and our past. It was kind of cool to go deep back into memories of things we've done that we hadn't talked about in a long time.
I think one of my favorite stories from that interview was you were still getting used to some of the idioms and phrases that English speakers use.
Yeah.
And, what did she say?
She said, ready, Freddy?
Yeah, Freddy.
And I was like, wait a minute. We've been dating for a while now.
Are you hanging out with a Freddy too?
Yeah, who's Freddy? My name is not Freddy. Yeah.
Oh, that made me laugh.
Those are confusing, by the way. Still today.
I can only imagine. I do watch TikTok, and like one of my favorite threads to get onto in TikTok is like different languages, and if you're learning English, what words or phrases are super weird to you.
Yeah.
Do you have any more examples? Like, did you know English when you came as a 13-year-old?
No, English was, I didn't speak a word of English. I was learning a lot on the airports, I guess, saying hi, and that's all we do. And then, I didn't speak any English. And then my brother, we thought my brother spoke English.
We thought he did?
Because my dad would pay for his lessons back in Congo, and he was going to school every night he had lessons. And we thought he knew a little bit of English, but the whole time he would mix English and French. It didn't really make any sense. But we were all like at the airports, he was like a translator, but I don't think he knew anything anybody was saying.
Hey, you're on the right plane somehow.
We got the right planes, we got here.
Yeah.
But it's not because of him.
Not because of your brother.
Not because of
no commission pay for him.
No. If anybody paid him, they should get their money back. But yeah, it was hard learning English, and then there's all these new ways of speaking, and when you're getting taught in school, they teach you the right way. It's like, pronounce the whole thing. It's like, I am, you are, but
you're probably like,
how are you?
What's gotcha?
Yeah, exactly.
How's it going? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, and easy peasy, like
easy peasy.
like piece of cake. And I'm like,
as a kid, you probably got really excited a lot, and then you're like, you guys are always lying about this.
Yeah.
So learning Spanish, I forgot it's not as easy to flow for me now because I don't use it as much.
Yeah.
But I do love the teachers that will show you videos of like, here's what you learned in school. Here's how people actually talk, and they show you the difference. So
Yeah.
it's confusing.
English is confusing sometimes because they always say like rush hour.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a rush hour, but like nobody's moving. The freeway
No
is
one's
like
no one's rushing.
when it's like rush hour, like you're in. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like
You
it's
should
like
call it
you
crawl hour. Yeah, you're right.
just like yeah, it's rush hour, but it's like nobody's like a freeway is like backed up and no one's moving. I guess I don't know. I guess it
We're all
doesn't make sense.
rushing to get to our spots to wait.
yeah to wait.
An English learner told me once, he's like, so you guys add ly to describe how you're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's like hardly working. It's like,
Yeah.
but you work hard. And hardly working is the opposite of
Yeah.
working hard. He's like, I don't understand this.
I don't either. Yeah. First, I thought you was like you're working really hard.
But you're hardly working.
You're hardly working. Yeah.
So as a 13-year-old coming here and getting enrolled in school, what was that like for you?
It was awesome. It was in a way, but it was also really scary.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to school and learn English and meet new people. As a kid, I was really excited, and to get education from the U.S. was my parents' dreams coming true for all of us.
Mm.
So it was cool. And then I didn't speak English, so I didn't make very many friends.
Mm.
At first, it was kind of hard, but it was. I think I learned more languages than I did English, because I went to this school where there's like all these kids from all over.
Yeah.
So they speak Arabic, they spoke Spanish, all the different kind of language, and we were all at the same school. And I was like learning their language, they were learning my language, and we were all there to learn English.
That's interesting. Was it helpful for you to have others who were newer to America as well in your class?
Yeah, it was cool in a way, but I feel like it would have been better if I had people that only spoke English, because that would force me to speak more English. But then again, it did also force us to speak English because we didn't understand each other's language as well. But it was a cool experience. I loved it. This school used to be called the Boise Language Academy.
Oh, okay.
It was first I went to River Glen, and then I transferred to Boise Language Academy when they opened the school for a year. And then after a few years, when they see that you're doing okay, then they put you throughout the high schools of your wherever you're close
Your home
to.
district.
Mm-hmm.
How many years did it take to feel comfortable speaking English? Or maybe months. I don't know. As a kid, you probably pick it up quicker.
I'm still not comfortable speaking.
You sound great to me.
It took a while, but I learned more when I started playing soccer with a lot of kids that were from here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of jumped in and made a lot of friends that only spoke soccer, but also just English. And but it's, I don't know. I can't say really. I can't really remember like when I was comfortable speaking English, but I was comfortable around people that I was familiar with. It's kind of hard to open up and start talking with like the accent, and then people don't know what you're saying. You have to repeat yourself. So I'm sure there's like a lot of limitation for people that are learning to be comfortable in speaking in groups or in So I don't really know when that moment kind of flipped for me and be more comfortable doing it, because I don't mind it now.
When you're going about your day, what language do you think in?
It depends on what I'm thinking about. I think. And dreams too. Somebody asked me that. What are you dreaming? What language do you dream in? And I think it depends on what I'm dreaming about or what I'm thinking about. If it's something to do with my work, it's always in English. If I'm thinking about something to do with my family back home in Africa, then I probably think in that language. Depends on what I'm saying to people, I guess, in my thoughts. Yeah.
It's cool to have access to all those different ways of seeing the world.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of good things in the world, and both of my cultures, and bringing them back together, it makes me unstoppable, I think.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about your home culture or your home life before you moved here?
I was younger growing up, so it was the Congo has always been really a conflict area country, unfortunately, and so growing up, there was always a lot of conflicts and war going on. So school was not as stable. We go to school for a few years, and then 1 year where we didn't go to school, and then the next year we went to school.
Just because the conflict got too bad?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just like a lot of war going on, and we're just fleeing from places to places.
Wow.
But in the house, I grew up with my parents were really Christian family. We're a Christian family. Both of my parents, my dad is a pastor.
Okay.
And so we went to church every Sunday, and then we went to church a few days during the week as well.
That's how my family was growing up too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of made me who I am, coming from a faith family. And we, I don't know, grew up. I have a lot of brothers and sisters, so it was really loud in my house. We had during the meals or when we're just playing around. Then my brothers and I, we played a lot of soccer.
That's
just
great.
outside in the community. I don't know what else. It was cool. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun to have the siblings around and the activities. I think that's really cool to see about, and soccer especially seems like that continuance for people who come here and everything's different. Soccer can be that sense of community and,
Yeah.
oh, I'm good at this, I can do this, and just let your mind go and just play.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know, have you ever heard of Nations United?
Is that a soccer team?
It's a soccer. It's a soccer.
Is it on Ted
It's
Lasso?
a No, it's here in Boise.
Okay.
It's a non-profit organization now. We have our own 501c.
Oh, okay.
And it was started by a lady named Mary Carol Taylor. She's a librarian at South Junior High.
That's funny. I would never picture a librarian starting a soccer club. But go, Mary. That's cool.
She's awesome. Anyways, I've been coaching for them for about 7 years now. And Nations United is all made of kids that came here as refugees. And they, so we have really almost like 100 kids every season to play on through Idaho Rush.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Many of them go to college and then they play for their high schools.
Yeah.
But this organization has helped a lot of kids that came as refugees continue playing soccer.
That's
So like
great.
when I first got here, there was no Nations United. There was Idaho Rush. And I didn't speak English, but most of the kids that I met, they saw that I played soccer and they were like, they welcomed me in that community. So the soccer community here is it's amazing.
That's so cool. And it reminds me of the Tufan FC club, which is the Afghan guys.
Yeah.
And they just hosted the Seattle Afghan team, and it was just really fun. Brought people together, and I sat and watched it. Froze my buns off, but I sat and watched, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, growing up, I never really was exposed to that much soccer. We were a basketball family.
Yeah.
Tall family.
Did you play basketball?
Yeah.
In high school?
High school, not college, but in volleyball, which, volleyball for me is kind of that thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I used to play a ton, and then COVID happened, and I got out of the habit. And, winter rolls around, and I really struggle with winter. I don't know if you do too. I think in Idaho, it's just dark, dreary. I get kind of depressed. It's just get off work, and it's dark. And now I have 2 nights a week. I have volleyball to look forward to.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
So it's helping me a lot.
I played indoor soccer as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of same thing, but I didn't know there was like leagues for volleyball.
They're big. Boise, Meridian, Nampa.
In like the Y, where do you guys play?
I play through the city. Boise City has a league, so it's all over, like schools or Fort Boise or whatever.
Oh, okay, nice. That's cool. I want to join a volleyball team.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'm on a co-ed team right now, so.
Oh, you are? Yeah.
Let's have a tryout. If you meet my standards, then I'll invite you on my team.
Whoa. Okay, I want to start
Can you pass the ball? No.
In the low division.
Did you know
Work
that
my
you
way
can
up.
kick the ball in volleyball and it's valid?
You can kick it.
People have saved, yeah.
You can use any part of your
You
body
can kick
or
it.
what?
Mm-hmm. It's a sneaky move, but you can
then
do
I
it.
will. Then I think I can survive.
Yeah, you can flop it with your head. You can kick
There
it.
you go. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I'll let you know next time.
Just funny. I like sand volleyball.
Yeah.
You can dive and still not hurt yourself.
Well,
But
most of the time, I played sand this summer and one of my teammates stepped on a nail. So you never know
oh no.
what you're going to find.
Okay, never mind.
No, it's still fun.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But, were there any other, like for your family, were there any other things like that where you found your sense of community again once you got here? Like, were you able to join a church that spoke your language and things like that?
Yeah, so my dad actually started an African church here.
Oh, okay.
Still practice at we meet every Sunday night at Collister United Methodist Church.
Oh, that's great.
And my uncle has one, and there's a few people that have African churches.
Is it mostly Swahili or is it
Yeah,
mixed?
most of the time they speak Swahili, or the other one they speak Kinyarwanda or Kinyamulenge. So it's that community is there, and then I've had a lot of sub communities, I guess I could say, that I've been part of that are very, some of them become really good friends and family members. My work family as well, and yeah.
You're also really active in the community. I know you serve on a few boards or a couple boards.
Yeah.
What's the driver for you to be involved that way?
Just to stay connected with people that I've worked with in the past, and the boards that I'm on right now is Jannus and also IMED, and it's the Idaho Museum for the International Diaspora.
Yeah.
That's what IMED is for, and they're both kind of really close to my heart. Like I used to work for Jannus, and IOR is a big part of my existence, I believe, I could say, being in Boise. And both boards are really, really meaningful to me. So being on those boards, I can help people that I used to work with and people that still come to the United States and stay involved in the community. That's
cool. Just for anyone listening that might be confused or watching now, I guess they were on video.
Yeah.
Idaho Office Refugees, where I work and this podcast is produced out of, is part of Jannus. It's a health and human services organization in Idaho. And so that's the umbrella we're under. And Idaho Museum for International Diaspora is a partner, a wonderful community organization. If you haven't heard of them, please look them up. But we recently entered an agreement with them to do cooking classes to feature chefs from all of these different countries and the cuisines that they're specializing in. So we have those on the books.
Paulina is a force. She's awesome, and she does a really good work.
Paulina, her last name's, I'm trying to see if I can say it right, Luangate.
Yeah.
She was a speaker at our Idaho conference on refugees with Jane Chu, and we put that on the podcast. So go back to season 1 if you want to hear that. They talked about Paulina came when she was 3 years old from Laos, and her single mom brought her and her little brother. So really, really powerful story there. So if you'd like to check that out, go back in season 1.
Yeah.
So those are really cool organizations to be supporting and be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you are thinking about people who are kind of years behind your path, like they're just now getting to Idaho to resettle.
Yeah.
What would you want to share with them?
I would want to show them that everything's going to be okay. Idaho and Boise especially is a really welcoming city. And lean on, on people that are helping you, because they've done this before and they've helped a lot of people resettle here. And this community is very people driven, and I think if you're new to Idaho, I think you're gonna be fine. And that's just from my experience, man. I think that there's a lot of good people here that are doing a lot of good work to help others, and things could stay.
It's interesting because you said you resettled at age 13, which is a very tender age. But do you think there are any advantages to resettling at a younger age versus as an adult.
Yeah, there's a lot of advantages. First, you don't have to worry about work and how you're gonna support a whole family.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I just had a different kind of aspirations than my dad did. I thought I was gonna be a professional soccer player,
Mm-hmm.
which happened. I am a soccer. I'm just kidding. But so you have
Didn't know you were so famous. Thanks for being here.
yeah, you're welcome. You don't know what you and learning the language is a lot easier if you don't know English already. I kind of not adopting, but picking up norms and things that are new here. People, the cultural norms and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to do and follow through when you're younger. Because there's a lot of new things that if you come here older, you're not as open to seeing the way people live here, and maybe not as open to being able to let that be part of your life. So I think coming younger was an advantage for sure. And then the school part as well. If your education is really key for younger kids that come here. To succeed in this country, you have to be educated, and when you come younger, you get that chance to do that. And many of the kids that came here from some African countries did not have that access to education like we did here. So nothing was free. So many of their parents couldn't afford them.
Oh, you had to pay for it.
Paying to go to school, and it wasn't as as good of education like it is here. So yeah, there's a lot of advantages coming younger.
Yeah, I think about the parents. You said the pressure to earn a living, and I think people sometimes will come from places where only one parent needed to work to make ends meet, and the other parent could more take care of the family.
Yeah.
And here, with a lot of the rents that we're seeing, it requires a 2 working household.
And
or
all
more.
The kids, or more to do that. And nowadays, it's like you have to work even extra to pay rent. In Boise, it's really
or mortgage or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't imagine being, being in my father's shoes when we first got here with 10 kids and
10 kids.
Yeah,
wow.
and being able to support them when you have some medical things that you have to deal with as well yourself, and the future. Like I can't imagine what he was going between, through his head of thinking about how he's going to survive without speaking English. He doesn't know anybody. There is all these strangers that are helping you, which is awesome, but you can't communicate clearly with them. You have to communicate through a translator, and then also, there's a lot of unknowns in his head as those were different responsibilities that he had than I did, and I was just excited to be here.
Yeah,
being a kid, but
just going along with the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be heavy. I mean, in one sense, you probably have this relief that you're finally here, because I know it takes, I don't know if you know how many years it took your family to get through the process. I know it takes a long time usually.
Yeah, I believe it took us about 8 years throughout the whole thing, the refugee camp and everything. But yeah, there were people that were born in a refugee camp. They lived there for 20 years before.
What was the setting like of the refugee camp where you lived? Was it your dad got up and went to work, or like what did it look like? Yeah,
no, nobody worked in the refugee camp. So it was just kind of the one that we were in was newer. It's called the Gatumba refugee camp. Okay. And unfortunately, we didn't last long there because the camp that we were in actually got attacked.
Okay.
And everything was burned. It was terrible things happened, but it was just tents, and the tents were made of tarp, so it was not anything like a camp that you would think of. I guess there's no structured buildings or anything like that. So
to get your meals, is there a distribution center that you go to?
So every month, of the beginning of the month, there will be like a UN will bring like meals for people. So they will give you food based on how many people you have in your family. So like they do like a kilo of Everybody's just get like a kilo of rice, kilo of flour, some kind of flour, and then also corn flour. Yeah. So and then also they'll give you beans. I think it was peas or something like that. I don't remember what else, but that's what you got for a whole month.
No meat then.
Oh, if you had meat, then you would be. There's no meat, nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't. Yeah, it was mostly just rice, flour, and beans. I think.
Were there a lot of other people in the camp?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in there. Yeah.
And as a kid, what was that like for you? Did you just keep? It's like what you knew, so you go about your life, or like?
Yeah, it was. Again, I used to play soccer.
Yeah.
With a lot of my friends that we were in the camp with. Some of them I knew before we went to the camp, and some of them were met there. So it was kind of a time in my life where it was unfortunately normal again for us to just be there and follow what my parents are saying and what we're doing. And
you emceed at our conference earlier this year, and you brought the soccer ball that you and your friends made, or your brothers. What was that made out of again?
Plastic bags and piece of cloth.
And over time, you
just go around the city or whatever you were in the refugee camp, find plastic bags. That's what you made the soccer ball out of. Yeah, and we didn't have money to go buy the right ball, and so we just kind of improvised and made our own. Yeah.
Were any of your friends from that time of life resettled in Boise as well?
Yeah, there's a lot of families here that were in the refugee camp with us that resettled here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you able to kind of bond together here once you got here?
Yeah, we bond together here, and then we do every year on August 13th. Most of the people that were in that same refugee camp do a memorial for the Gatumba Memorial here in Boise. So it's it's really good to see them because they were in the same they experienced the same tragedy as we did, and so it's good to have that community together here in Boise. And there's a lot of them actually.
What does that look like, that event or that gathering?
So it happens every year, and sometimes there's a bigger scale for it where they do all of them that have resettled in the United States meet somewhere, but each state also has many states have people that were in that refugee camp that meet in their own state as well. Mainly it's they kind of remember doing a memorial for all the people that we lost in the refugee camp, and then also they seek justice because there's not been anything done from the government of Burundi about what happened and how many people lost their lives, and there's just the people that came out and took responsibility and said they did it, but serving in the government right now. So it's just a movement to try to get justice for Gatumba victims. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm glad to hear there's an ongoing memorial. For that, and a gathering with other people who experienced it as well. That's really powerful. You gave kind of some wise words to people who are arriving. Do you have any advice or just words for people who are more of the receiving community, who want to be welcoming, be a place where people are included? Any thoughts for Idahoans that just care?
Yeah. I think first I would like to say thank you for being willing to welcome strangers. What I hear when people say, "Oh, from California," we don't like that. It drives me. I don't know why people would say that, because I just think people are people, and it doesn't matter where you come from. You should all be welcomed. If there's a whole country, we can all kind of, share it. But for people that come from different countries, they're seen in the different ways. If you're a refugee, you're an immigrant. It's just there's a lot of negative thoughts or things that come with those just words.
Yeah.
But we are all the same in many ways. Then we are different, and I think being human and talking to people that I've met before that were strangers to me that became family members that I didn't choose. I think it's from just communicating with them and getting to learn who they are as people, not as what you might think they are, not as what they're labeled as, but individually. Like
Yeah.
we have a lot in common than people would see at first from what you were being labeled as.
Yeah. And it's interesting because refugee is just a kind of an immigration status for a certain time of your life.
And it doesn't, yeah.
So for you, that term refugee, what does it mean to you right now? Like, is it like, yes, I'm a refugee? Is it like a badge of honor, or is it more like, I'm a former refugee, I went through that? Or, how do you like interact with that term now, or do you at all?
I don't want to get rid of it because it's part of me and it's part of my identity, right? So I don't want to be like, I hate that term or whatever, which is other people can, it depends on how you interacted with it or how that term is within your own life experiences. With me, I know that's kind of part of me, so I put it there as first a reminder of where I come from and also things that I went through with my family and to where I am right now. Being a former refugee is part of me, and I don't hate that. It's a word that's associated with me. But for other people, if you're only seen as a refugee, you're only seen as this label that you have on there, then I can see why other people can hate having that even be a vocabulary in their life experiences. But
like, I'm more than this.
I am more than
so
just a
much
refugee.
more than this.
Yeah, and I am more than that, but also like it's part of me as well. This is also me. That's what I take as in my own experiences. But I'm human first, and everything else comes after that.
Yeah, we're all human first. The only reason we have borders is because humans in the past decided to label them as such.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
what has your experience like working with so many people that come from refugee background and being you are the receiving giving the receiving them, and also not just as a human but also as a service provider that helps them resettle and also be figure out who they are as people after they're being labeled. I guess, if that makes sense.
I think for my role is a lot of the times my role comes in a little bit later than somebody's initial time here. So like at the resettlement agencies themselves, people are actually doing the case management and helping with the necessities in that kind of initial flood when someone gets here. So my role tends to be more removed from that very like tender time period in somebody's life. And I'm more of the opportunities that come once you kind of have your feet under you a little bit more. And maybe, so I work for, like global talent, like can help people get back to their careers that they really loved, or Refugee Speakers Bureau. I'm really passionate about helping promote voices of Idahoans who did come through the refugee program and are ready to share about their lives. So I think it's really special because the whole humanizing the experience is really where my role in communications comes in, and helping people that don't know anything about refugee resettlement, all the way to people who have firsthand experience, like helping make those connections and like facilitating. I think a lot of what resettlement does and people who are helping are really just like people who come here have dreams for their lives, hopes for their lives, skills, personalities that they just want to get to where they want to get. And they don't need anyone to dictate what that looks like for them, but they just don't quite know in this foreign place, like what are the stepping stones for me? So if we can help light that path or like provide some tools along the way, that's what I see us as doing. Like, hey, we're familiar with this place, so let us like be a flashlight for you, and let us be like a rope, right? If you're climbing a big wall or something. But you get to choose like where you want to go, who you want to be, that agency.
And that's awesome. That Idaho Office for Refugees, you do see people after they went through the agencies, but you also support the agencies that helps the people, right? So you're kind of
it's a network.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big thing to come to a new country with really nothing.
Yeah.
And so it takes a community to really like, I see it as mutual thriving. Like Idaho, Boise would not be as like strong and vibrant of a place to live if we didn't have our resettlement program. So I'm really grateful for it, just in the terms of the cultural diversity that I get to experience. Like my nieces go to school with kids from all over the world because of refugee resettlement, which is really special.
Yeah. It's awesome to see because, you know, just being from here, you need some other...
We need some, yeah. Seriously, yeah, it would just be
a little diversity,
all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like what Paulina's doing to celebrate the diaspora that are here. And I like to check out the different markets, try different foods, just hear stories. I love to hear people's stories of home, like people from Afghanistan and even like Ukraine have shared when they are in certain parts of Idaho. They're like, this reminds me of home.
Yeah.
And I've had that experience in South Africa driving through some of the fields. This could be Idaho. If I got plopped down right here, I could think I'm in Idaho. So it's kind of fun to hear like what speaks to people, what comforts people, and how we all find that in our own ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely being from somewhere else. You see things in the different places that reminds you of home, or, you know, food, or even landscape, like you're saying. It's like, it's kind of cool to see. Yeah,
it's when people miss their food, like their home country food, when they come here. And I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you, because in America, a lot of times the food is not good for us. You know, it's just when I lived in South Africa and people had Americans visiting and they're like, oh, can you bring, it's always like Reese's Puffs, like, like stuff that we can't find in the grocery store, like not healthy at all. So I'm like, yeah, we could up our food game a little bit, I think.
I don't know, if people in when I grew up, is like, we didn't eat in the restaurants. It was all just like home cooked.
What's the best meal to you?
The best meal to me, oh man, it would be like ugali, which is and I guess it's fufu is a close to English word for it, but it's French. And I
work with someone who's always talking about fufu.
Oh,
Judith.
Oh, does she? Yeah.
She's always talking.
She's
about
probably
fufu.
yeah.
And cassava.
Yep. Fufu and cassava, and just good soup or fried fish.
Okay.
And rice on the side.
Nice.
That would be a good meal.
Love it.
Now I'm getting hungry.
I think it's lunchtime, actually. I think it is. Yep. All right. Well, I should let you go get your lunch. Well, Moses, thank you for being here.
Thanks you so much for having me. Yeah. Appreciate it. Finally made it on the podcast.
2.0. Moses 2.0. All right. Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.